that would be a good way to get fired from Whole Foods, even though they're selling Coke, they're selling Coca-Cola. I see that Coca-Cola is not a good plan, but I can't stop you from buying it. And in this case, psychiatry still remains generally the lone subspecialty that is seen as a specialist for prescribing some of the medications. Now, for someone who's on medicine already, they have their doctor, they have their diagnosis, they have their treatment, they have their prescription, and they feel like it's working. And that includes our listeners today. You should stay on everything you're on. Absolutely. If you found anything in your life that just works, you should continue doing that in all areas of life. If you found something that works, please continue to do that. This isn't about coming off of medicine if you think the medicine is helping. But for the hundreds of millions of people, and there are hundreds of millions who feel undiagnosed or misdiagnosed or underdiagnosed or unheard or untaken care of, are not appreciated for who they really are, this does hold. And the idea is that maybe there's nothing wrong with you. And maybe medicines, although an option, aren't anywhere near the top option to help you recenter yourself.
Okay. Yeah. I can't tell you how many people have come to me telling me I was diagnosed as bipolar, which is this is way too overused, and put on medication, and I got worse.
Yeah.
And when I ask them what their symptoms are, they don't describe bipolar disorder. So I'm like, okay, let's look at it a different way, because living or being with somebody who is so unpredictable in their behavior and so abusive, and where the goalpost keeps moving, your behavior is going to likewise be as up and down and unpredictable. It's just the nature of it. So I have to agree in that area. One thing that I've found has helped a lot of people are the SSRIs, because, and it doesn't sound like you're a big proponent of it, but if you've tried psychotherapy and you've tried natural solutions, and you can take an SSRI and it can take you to, I kind of call it, being at ground zero and working from the way up, because I find when people are struggling so much, they really cannot grasp the concepts of going beyond it until they level out. So how does somebody level out who is having a really hard time accomplishing what they want to accomplish?
Okay, so that's a good question as well. And the original SSRI was Prozac, and Prozac got developed in 1987 while I was in medical school. And the Eli Lilly people just inundated us at that point. So we were on the original group of the sales receivers of that particular drug. And, there was a book called Listening to Prozac that was really written. And in that same year or a year later, there was talk of putting Prozac into the water system of Los Angeles and New York. The idea that it got put in there anyways, by the way. That's where people put their Prozac is into the sewage, which then goes into the water system.
Wow.
And then all these drugs, they only last for 12 years and then there's generic. So there's no longer anyone taking Prozac. They all take this thing called fluoxetine, which is created in some third world country without any FDA approval for what's really in that pill. We have no idea what's really in those pills at all anymore. It's not being modulated or regulated. And we call that an SSRI as if that's the same as Prozac. It's not.